Hi, you're very welcome to today's video, and today is one of those days. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about what you can do when you're having one of those days. I'm actually having one myself right now today. I've changed it around, but it started like one of those days. I've had actually one of those weeks. Lots of little events that just have been stuff I could do without. My computer broke. It's going to cost about €1,000 to replace it, or to fix it. So I'm kind of looking at it would nearly cost the same just to replace it. And I have to make a decision about that, but in order to do that, I'm waiting on something else to kind of manifest and materialize so I can make a wiser decision. My tap broke. Thankfully I got it fixed, but over the weekend, until I got it fixed, I was running up and down the stairs with basins, trying to use the bath water to, the tap from the bath to wash my Delf and then bring them back down. And I just felt like upstairs, downstairs, it was just and then on top of that, my second youngest boy is quite sick with this really awful infection. So, I just had a lot of different little things add up that just have got me to the point where I'm like, enough. So, so what do you do when you're having one of these days or one of these weeks? So the first thing is just take perspective. Is that like it's thankfully it's only one of those days. Thankfully it's only one of those weeks. I've been in a lot bigger adverse situations than a broken computer, a broken tap, and my son being sick. Now, when I say that, I mean it's not nice to have any child sick, but he's not dying, thank God. It's just an awful dose that he has. So sometimes having that perspective kind of takes me out of the enormity of it. Maybe it's not as big as I'm making it out to be. The second thing to do, and again, it's in keeping with your perspective, is just to be aware of your thoughts that you're having when you're in these types of situations. So the types of thoughts that I will have when I'm first in it is, I'm such a loser, nothing ever goes right. Every time I think I'm going to do, something great and something big and something wonderful, these things happen, and it can feel like I'm being punished and it feels like the world's against me, and it's very much woe is me. So I've gotten very good at just trying to take myself out of that cycle so I can see it for what it is. Nobody's against me. God's not punishing me. The universe isn't trying to, have tripwires and trip me up. This is just life. And sometimes in life, no matter how prepared or how, kind of much we can do, these things can just happen, okay? By doing that, it will soften it and it'll just be, it is what it is. So when you get to that point, or, if you're struggling to try and get to that point, one of the things that I like to do is I like to just try and take a moment where I can, just for myself, to have either a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and just get that perspective for myself. Just maybe distract or just take a moment to say, okay, how am I going to come out of this? Or what one thing can I do that would help me? Or, what is there another way of looking at it? And those type of questions that I would ask myself all the time. Since I did that then this morning, I thought, okay, well, I've no control over, trying to decide about this computer or the tap or, Adam being sick and stuff like that. I really can't control that, but I can control a lot of what I do about it. So I can react, which is kind of like a knee-jerk reaction, or I can respond, which is what I chose to do. So, one of the things I'd started to do was clean. And, that's a lot of times how I feel in control. I feel organized and I feel, okay, well, I may not be able to make him any better, any quicker, but at the same time, at least if I'm cleaning, the house is clean, I've got my dinner done, I'm doing the basics. I'm not just letting a difficult day go into just a lost kind of a day. And I don't like the term winners and losers because I do tend to call myself, a loser when I'm activated and triggered. But at the end of the day, the difference between someone who succeeds, aka a winner, towards someone who doesn't, a loser, is, that they still take those steps. Every day they just keep putting one foot in front of the other and they just keep moving forward. And, today was one of those days. And for me, it was like, well, I'm just going to clean. I'm going to try and control as much as I can of what I can do. And it kind of brings it back to a sense of purpose, so that I'm using up that energy, that kind of frustrated and irritated energy. I'm using that up in a healthy way. It's productive. I'm getting it out of my system, and my house is clean, my dinner's done. So that by the time then I was ready to kind of collect the other kids from school, I actually felt calmer. Felt like, okay, well, at least these kind of things are in place, and at least the basics are done. At least I have a dinner on and the clothes washed, and the beds are made, and everything was kind of just, it feels at least normal. That also, because your environment really does influence how you're feeling. So for me, the environment being messy and upside down adds to the frustration of where's this thing and where's that thing, and it just creates that kind of havoc. And chaos that I don't really want in my life. So that was how I did that today. So I used that energy. First of all, I got perspective. I sat down and thought, okay, what am I going to do here? Because this is a bit rubbish of a day. And I took some action. Now, it's not even an action anywhere near what the trigger points were for me, but at the same time, it was something. And sometimes that's all we have. The other thing that I did then was, earlier today, my hair was like greasy. I needed a shower, and I was hemming and hawing, like at what time I'll have it. And I just said, no, you're going to get your work done till 12:30. 12:30, you're going to go up and you're going to have a shower, put some makeup on, and be ready to face the world for like the school runs, and be the mother that you need to be the woman that you desire to be, instead of, you know, someone who's just kind of letting it go because they're having a bad day. So that's what I did today. Had a shower, got dressed, put my best foot forward, and at least when I collected the kids from school, they got somebody who is feeling better, who is appearing better, who has at least the house clean and a dinner done, and who was ready for the second phase of my day, which is all the homeworks and dinners and then cleaning up after that. So it does kind of help if you just chunk it down, get some perspective, as in, yeah, this is a bad day, but at the same time, Jeannie Mackers, it could be a lot worse. You can still validate yourself. You can still say, yeah, it's frustrating because I was hoping to, you know, use that money towards something else when the car got broke, or, you know, whatever it is that, you know, that the trigger point is. So yeah, like the other thing then I did was I put some tan on, I got some nice clothes on, just stuff that, I mean, I'm not going around a ball gown by any means, but, you know, it still feels like I still feel I'm presented to myself and to the world. And I've let go of the trigger points. I've said, you know, I'm taking a break from analysing, waiting on this news to come so I can decide on which direction I'm taking with the computer, you know, waiting on like Adam to feel better so I can do this or do that. I was like, you know what, this is what I can do now, and this is what I'm going to do. So I hope that helps if you're having one of those days. If there's anything you'd want me to elaborate on in relation to that, please do let me know. But like, honestly, for me, it's just like, get perspective, watch your thinking, watch what you're telling yourself about one of these days, and then just kind of change it around. Doesn't mean I'm feeling like I can conquer the world today, but it definitely means I'm not, you know, sinking into a lower level kind of energy, lower level thoughts. I'm not snapping at the kids. I'm not kind of taking my frustration out on myself or others. And that's definitely a plus. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.